should be the love beyond toleration. Be the love before pride and exaltation. Be the love. Be the love. Be the hope.
You are listening to Be the Love, transcending through the shadows into a higher state of consciousness. We are souls on the journey, opening up the conversation to heal, awaken, and connect ourselves and the planet to a higher vibration of love frequency. It starts with you. Everything you need is within you. This is your time. I am Stacy Musial.
And I am Sam Fernandez, and we are your co-hosts at Be the Love podcast. Thank you for tuning in and ascending with us. Hop on board the Ascension bus.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Be the Love, transcending through the shadows. My name is Stacy Musial.
And I am Sam Fernandez.
And we are your co-hosts and souls on the journey. And if it feels safe for you, I'd like to begin to invite you to get centered with us. I'd like to begin by inviting you to take a beautiful cleansing breath in through your nose, releasing anything out through your mouth. And just take a deep breath in through your nose, breathing in calm, peaceful, loving, serene energy, and breathing out anything you are ready to release right here and right now. And take another deep breath in through your nose, breathing in love and light for yourself. And breathe out the light and love and send it to all of the world and humanity. And remember that you always have your breath to come back to. Today we have Laara. Laara is a spiritual influencer, healing practitioner, and author of the International Bestsellers, The Little Book of Light Codes and Light Codes for the Soul. She is also the developer of cutting-edge healing modality, Fractaline Healing. Laara offers distance healing sessions, workshops, and online courses, assisting those who wish to align to their soul's purpose and power, connect with light language, and learn spiritual principles. Thank you so much for being here today with us, Laara.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And so I'd like to just jump in and well, first, can you tell us a little bit about what a light code or light language is?
For sure. This is actually something that has taken me quite a while to figure out myself. The reason is that it goes so far beyond what we can really conceive in our brains, because our brains are so limited, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at it is light as its full spectrum has all the information known and unknown. Light and love, it's all the information known and unknown. Our challenge then is, how do we tap into this infinite wisdom that's available through the light? And it can actually get manifested as light language. And so light language is often seen as a string of symbols and signs and sigils, squiggles, that sort of thing. It can also be signed. You can see people dancing even. And the reason why it can be expressed in so many different ways is because it is an expression of our love connected to this infinite wisdom and knowledge. So it's light language is, like I said, this string of information. If we were to condense and compact that down, kind of like a zip file on a computer, we would get a light code. That's the difference. It's just light codes are small. Big packages, small size.
tell us a little bit about kind of your background with that. Like, what led you to this discovery, or like discovering the light codes, and what has led you down this path?
Oh gosh. Well, it's definitely, it's been my journey. I got interested in energy healing. I wanted to be an energy healer, so I found Reiki. So we went down the Reiki road, and of course, the Reiki symbols are actually a form of light language. They're light code themselves. Didn't know that at the time, but that really blew me open. Right, like what Reiki tends to do, it tends to blow people open, so you can just bring in all this amazing energy now. So that was a big step for me. And then there were a few other modalities, healing modalities that I started playing with, and my own development, personal development and exploration and healing journey. And we just got more open and open and open until one day I was awoken by spirit at 4 a.m. that 4 a.m. wake up call. And there were literally silver codes floating around my room. And I'm not, like, I'm a visual person, but I'm not that kind of visual person. So this was something that was really surprising to me when this happened. And I was introduced to my new head guide at that time. And we had, I don't know, there was probably 5 of these symbols. So I wrote them down. I channeled what my guide was sharing with me, which was, his name and, and just like, hi. And then the next day I went to a yoga class, and it was just a restorative class. It was very relaxed. And I had these symbols popping into my mind. And I went, oh, wow, that's interesting. So I asked for assistance in remembering those symbols, because of course I'm in a yoga class. I can't really write them down. And I was able to remember them, surprisingly. When I got home, I was able to write them down. And then going forward, because like I said, I wanted to be an energy healer. So I was getting more and more interested in just talking to people. And I wanted to be like a hands-on healer. But I'd be in like a cafe or something, and it's not really appropriate to lay hands on people in a cafe. So we'd just be chatting, and I would just see this symbol. It would always be this, my right side. It would always come in from the back of my temple forward, and I could kind of see it in my mind's eye. And I'd say to the person, I see a symbol that might help you with this situation. Do you want it? And they would always say yes, like it was the most normal thing ever. There was always a paper and pen for me to write it down. And when you need to write something down, how there's never paper and pen around, at least that's been my experience. There was always paper and pen. I would draw it. I would take a picture with my phone. They would get the original, and I'd say, this is going in my book, just so you know. And they said, oh, are you going to publish? And I said, no. This is just for me to keep track of them. I think they're cool. Of course, never say never. So that was actually the compilation of the little book of light codes, was all these conversations with people in a cafe, coupled with some that would just come through for myself as well. But that was really the beginning of it, because they just pop up because I was talking to people, and now they come whenever I ask.
That's really, really fascinating to me. And I have heard, other people, when they go into, their kind of spiritual, like chosen, spiritual path or what have you, they have these like profound downloads, right? So have you met or talked to any other light code workers? I mean, is that kind of like the norm in like the light code circle, how you guys kind of get attuned? It's just kind of just divine, boom, and then here's all these symbols, or how does it, I don't want to say typically work, but from your experience, how has it worked for other people?
Well, everyone's unique. So it does tend to come forward, I guess, in a similar manner, but in a unique manner as well. So there are a lot of people who are unknowingly channeling light language. So they kind of just start doodling, and then they realize, oh, this is interesting. And then they search things and they come across light language, and then they wonder, oh, is this light language? So it can happen like that, where it just sort of appears. I have definitely heard of other people who have had the download, where maybe they get woken up at night and then it's just like this, all this energy, and maybe they can see some things, and then there's other people who wake up and they have one code, and then they go about drawing that code for months, and that's their process. So, you know, it's very different for each person, for sure.
The
And
symbols.
actually, I think you were going to ask the same question. Go ahead, Stacy.
Symbols can be just very profound, and it sounds like, you know, you've been, you know, you've received these downloads for people, and I'm curious too, like if you have a symbol that you're working with, and so I had this really interesting experience, how this show manifested. I was given a very complex symbol, and I mean, it was like just so many different designs, and you know, and I had it, I had someone read it, and we channeled, and they said it was actually, it came from the Arcturians, and so, but so anyways, like I put this under my pillow, and then the night that this show got downloaded completely to me is but the same night I had it under my pillow, and it was just like, you know, I like everything came to me. It was like a flood of information. It was so powerful. Now, is this like, what are some of the other experiences that you've seen with people, and how that's really been, how they've been able to, you know, use these in their lives?
Well, that's the wonderful thing with these codes, is there is such a variety of uses with us. So you can have them put up on your wall as art, and then that energy is emanating into your space. Certainly, I've had people contact me about tattoos. I put them on my arms with henna. That was really awesome. Meditating with them is probably my favorite way, just to get into a nice coherent state, connected to the heart space, and you know, grounded and present, and then you just look at them and open to receive whatever frequencies are ready, willing, and able to come through and be received. I've had people actually with the oracle cards stick them on their person somewhere. Like I've had people put them in their pockets, stick them in their bra, like just so they can, it's like a crystal. They're treating it like a crystal. And actually you can charge crystals with the codes as well. That one's really fun. Yeah, that's a pretty good list of different ways, as well as like putting them on your nightstand or your altar or under your pillow, as you said, and stuff like that.
So I'm hearing the power of these symbols, like they can be placed anywhere, and maybe set the intention to what you're wanting to create or manifest in your life. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, well, the symbols hold a purpose, hold an energetic purpose. So a topic. So the good news is that these topics are, although they are limited because they're a topic, they're quite deep. and it's like peeling the onion. So you could work with a code for the rest of your life and never reach the bottom of it, because it will evolve with you. So the intention that you would put behind, if you're wanting to use intentions, which of course is always great, is just that you're open to receive what this code has to offer. And then if you can be conscious of what the topic is, then you have even more power, because more consciousness is more consciousness. So, so that's always helpful to know what the topic actually is, and then you can really tune into it with that in mind, but doing your best not to limit it as well.
Mhm.
because you never know where it can take you, even within its broad spectrum of topic.
Mhm.
And you, Stacy actually mentioned when she got her download that it was from a, specific spiritual realm. Now, these light codes coming into you, are they from one specific like higher realm, or can they kind of just come out from wherever they come out from? How do they come to you?
Well, I can channel multiple dialects,
Mhm.
I suppose. So yeah, the Arcturians or the Pleiadians or the Lemurians or the Syrians. The codes in my books are Centurion. I have an affiliation with the Centurions. The interesting thing about that, though, is the Centurions are known as the librarians of the universe. So that means that the Syrians and the Arcturians and the Lemurians and all those guys, the Pleiadians, all of their amazing wisdom and knowledge and technologies and all that stuff gets held by the Centurions. So what the Centurions did was they created a universal code. And that's what we're channeling. So that's why so many people can resonate with these codes. Is it doesn't matter if you feel connected to the Pleiadians, you're still able to resonate with these codes because the Pleiadians are connected to them, or any of them. So that's, and it is from a higher realm for sure. Like it's some of the codes, all of the codes actually, now that I'm looking, reach like very high dimensionally. So I think that's something that's really interesting when we talk about the star seed families and the different races, I guess, is we think of our own race as, oh, we're just on this sort of three-dimensional plane, although we have access to higher when we tune into that. But these other races have a much greater range than we can typically comprehend, I think. So for most people anyway. So yeah, so it's just like 12th, 13th, like however many dimensions you feel there are, because that's a debate all on its own. The codes will go there. The codes will go there.
So how can we tap into the power of codes and this energy to help with the ascension process?
Definitely, well, working with them in whatever way resonates with you in the moment, because of course we're always evolving, we're always advancing. So not to be too attached with, I will only meditate on this, or I will only put it up on my wall. Like being able to really settle with the code. And by that, I mean doing your grounding practices and tuning into your heart space. I think this is the most profound way to work with them, because if you can get into an altered state, still being grounded though, because that's the thing that's changing for us, is that when we're going into altered states, we have to stay grounded so that we can be anchoring these energies in, because we're in as a global we're in this global shift where we're bringing in more light and more information. So we need to anchor it in. That's our job right now. So all the practices that we do have to center around anchoring it. So that is including working with the codes, and the codes automatically, they do so much automatically for us that we don't even need to really know what's going on. Because it is so far beyond our comprehension for the most part. We just do our best to stay present and focused with the energy and feel what we feel, sense what we sense, see what we see, whatever it is, and that could be different any day from moment to moment.
You mentioned earlier about just people maybe doodling, and I think a lot of people doodle and stuff. And so are there certain, like, I know for me, like I'm more prone to, I'll look down and I'm very maybe unconsciously doodling, and it's usually I'm doodling stars or hearts or spirals or things like that. I'm just wondering, is there like what do some of those symbols mean? And how can we really tap into the energy of the and the meaning behind them, or is it a personal thing?
Well, the typical symbols that we draw mindlessly, like the stars and the squares and the straight lines, that they might have an energy to them just because our unconscious is maybe processing something. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's light language. Not to say it can't be or it isn't. Just I wouldn't typically say that it is. The reason is that like light language is really channeled from the heart. So we should really be in our heart space when we're channeling that. That's how we can really know that it is actually light language and not something else. Because there is those something else's out there. But it's like when I channel, I know what it is. I know. Sometimes it can be a little bit fuzzy, and I don't have a lot of clarity around it, but I at least have an idea or a sense of what is going on. And if I get caught up, I show my partner who's really in tune, and he goes, "Oh, wow, that's cool." And I go, "What do you feel?" But I actually don't, I try not to do that too much because I want to know what I'm channeling. And I teach people to know what they're channeling. There will be times when we're getting stretched though. And that's when we wouldn't know necessarily. And that's where it's helpful to have somebody that you can share it with, especially before you go posting it on social media, where a lot of people are going to see it. Just because I think it's good to be very conscious of what we're putting out into the world.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned too that that you can actually teach people how to read the light codes. So even if, like for someone like me, I'm not a very good drawer to begin with, but I wouldn't know, what a light code looked like or how to read it. So, but anybody could actually read the light codes. Is that correct?
I believe so. The reason is that we are made of light codes. We are light codes. Everything about us is light codes. So it's, in order to read a light code, again, it's tapping into the heart space, because the heart is going to be what tells us. Is that the heart is the bridge between the physical reality and the energetic realms. So the heart can interpret things that our brain struggles with. So when I teach people to channel, or to be able to read someone else's light language, it's always going to be coming back to the heart space.
And also too, I'm just kind of gathering. So actually reading a light code has really nothing to do with reading the actual light code. It has more to do with being in your heart and feeling that energy and vibration. That's when you get the message. Is that right? Exactly.
And the nice thing is too, that like I said before, they're emitting this frequency. So you don't have to be even aware that it's there in order to be receiving the goodies. And is only going to be working with you in your highest good, because they're channeled from love, right? They are love. And so they're only going to work with you in your highest good. They're completely safe. And they're going to work with you on the level that you need. And sometimes that's unconscious. Sometimes it's conscious, but there's a lot of unconscious, right? So they're going to be doing a lot of unconscious work for us, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not about like, oh, this squiggle means something. It's more, this is a packet of information that like if we, like this book, the Little Book of Light Codes, and we look at a symbol. Okay, this symbol has so much information in it. I could write volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes of books, just, and not even scratch the surface about what this symbol can do. So like in the books, we give a very brief description of here's the topic. Have fun. Like, because I couldn't possibly translate it all. Nor would I want to, because I wouldn't want to limit people. I wouldn't want to put too many of my words and my interpretation
Right.
to distort or resist or anything. Right? You want people to be able to go their own way with it and to feel it how they need to feel it, or not feel it the way they don't need to feel it.
Right.
Yeah.
So really tapping into the heart energy and so someone might receive a symbol, but the interpretation is going to be very different based on that individual's needs and what their heart and their inner wisdom, their inner self, their higher self is really giving them.
Yes, but there will be a general theme. So that's where you can have the commonalities in a broad theme. So even if you go, there's a wonderful group on Facebook. It's called Keepers of the Codes, and sometimes people will post a light code in there and say, "What do you get? What do you get from this, you guys? I want to hear." And you go through and you read the comments, and it's always fascinating. And everybody has a different way of expressing it, but you can see the common theme. And so what I would do is, if it were me and if I wanted to do this, is I'd go through and figure out the common theme and then say, this is what it is. You know, if I didn't already get the hit anyway.
Right.
But it's kind of fun to do that. It's kind of fun to look through those comments and go, oh, what are people kind of sussing out? And is that what I got? Yes, that's what I got. Cool. And it's a way to learn for yourself as well, like, to develop those skills.
Yeah, and to trust yourself, to learn to that inner wisdom, to trust that part of you. That, yeah, definitely. So I'm curious too. Is this similar to something like so there's a lot about the sun codes, you know, and looking at the sun and we're, you know, it's been said that, you know, we look at the sun and we're receiving downloads from the sun, from the light. Is this kind of similar to that concept?
Yes. The reason is, like, the sun is light codes. The sun is light language, and the sun is emitting that. Yeah, I actually am a fan of sun gazing, and it is incredible the patterns that come through when you sun gaze. Like, wow. And that is completely light language and a very high frequency. Amazing. And I actually would love to say at this point that our sun is going through a lot of changes. And I mean, we as our solar system is moving into the galactic center. The photon belt, which is more light. That's why we're in this age of purification, is because we're being bombarded by light. So the sun is going through this big shifting as it's also gaining more light from us actually going through into the photon belt. So the Schumann frequencies right now, I don't know if you guys have been following that, but they are off the charts. Yeah, wild.
Yeah.
So this is a really good time to be making friends with the sun. This is a good time to be tuning into the sun, being grateful for the sun, and receiving, like actually making a conscious effort to receive the energies being showered upon us. Because they are different, and our bodies have to adapt. They have to change actually to take in more light. That's, you know, we're seeing it everywhere, right? With the purging of the lower vibrational energy. So it's good to be conscious of that and make friends with the sun. Sun is your friend.
Can you explain real quick how to sun gaze? Actually, I've never heard that term before.
Sure. So it's done typically at sunrise or at sunset, you of course want to be very careful, and you want to build up to it. You don't want to just go look at the sun, especially if it's high in the sky, because you will hurt yourself. But I find sunrise to be actually quite strong, so I prefer sunset. It's gentler. What I would do is go find a good spot where the sun is as unobstructed as possible. And about 20 minutes before the sun disappears, so wherever you are, you might have hills and stuff, right? So you have to kind of work with that. And a good way to do it is by using your thumb. Thumb is 10 minutes. 2 thumbs is 20 minutes, that sort of thing. So 20 minutes is a good place to start, or less. And you would stand feet flat, preferably, and even like hands kind of open and down by your sides, just so you can be in that receiving kind of position. And ground yourself. Of course, I like to inhale the earth's energy up through my feet and bring it up to the top of my head and then let it back down. This is my grounding technique. And just be aware of your environment, be aware of the birds, be aware of what's just going on around you, and be in a really gentle flow and space with all of that. And then what you'd want to do is start with your eyes closed, and you might close your eyes and look away from the sun and kind of do this. And then that could even be intense. That's why you're looking away. And then once you feel like you're comfortable, then you could turn away and open your eyes, and then close them and move, and then open your eyes. And you might do that for a minute or two, or this might be your day. This might be what you do on your first day or a few days or week or whatever, because you're really tuning into what's comfortable for your body, and you are protecting your eyes, because the eyes have to learn how to do this. It is healing, actually. For the eyes. So only if you do it right, of course. So then you can track your eyes around the sun, kind of both directions. You want to look up, down, side, so that you're getting the whole eye exposed to those frequencies. And then, of course, the sun's going down. And as it's going down, it's getting softer, right? And so by the time you have 5 minutes left or something, most people can look at the sun, because it's quite low. So it's not like super intense. And that's where you get the most amazing things coming through. I don't want to spoil it for you. You have to go experience it for yourself. But it's so beautiful, and it's so powerful, and you're being fed. Like, I know people who would rather go sun gaze than eat dinner, because it's far more nourishing than the food. Because of course the sun is what gives food its life and everything. This is like the ultimate live food. This is just getting directly from the sun. It is all of the frequencies of light. Like, the sun is just offering it all. So to just keep grounding and breathe with it, and open to receive, and be gentle with the process, and see how you go with it.
That sounds amazing.
It is.
Yeah. And I'm just curious, it sounds like one, can have some really profound experiences. And I'm just curious to, like, for my inquiring mind, and I'm sure listeners, what could one expect when they're doing that? Like, how would, things you said coming through, can you give us a kind of maybe a little idea of what that might be like, or what they might expect?
Well, it's very grounding. I find that when I really get into the good harmony with it, it's just like, boom, grounded. And very full of energy. It's beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful colors that you can see. And again, I don't want to spoil it, because I really want people to experience that beauty for themselves. I have received downloads of information while sun gazing. So of course that can come in different forms, just however you tend to receive. So that's always a possibility. I always feel light. I feel very grounded, but light, buoyant. Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good. The sunset, the sunrise. I was in Hawaii one time and I did sun gazing at sunrise and I just about passed out. The energy was just so intense. I just about passed out. And it took me probably 10 minutes to recover. I was like on the ground.
Wow.
So that was intense.
Yeah.
So I'm cautious personally about that, but of course other people just think it's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Well,
so,
I know what I'm doing this evening.
I'm curious too, how might one tap into the energy of the sun to raise their own vibration so we can continue to increase the vibration of the planet?
sun gazing is a good way, for sure. Because you're making the direct connection by looking at the sun, by bringing it in through your eyes and into your entire being. That's really, really good. Meditating, especially when it's sunny, and making that effort to connect with the sun as you're meditating. That's the same way you might connect with the moon. Also, that's really great too. But the sun, when you're meditating, especially when it's sunny out, that's good. That's very good.
And so basically, I mean, any of us that has ever listened to, any guided meditations, it's always said, that we are the bridge between the earth and the heavens, right? So the earth does need us to channel in that light in order for it to ascend as well. Right. So yeah, so I kind of had, the same question that Stacy had, is that do you think that that's one of the best ways to help ascend the earth into 5D is through getting that all those light codes and light languages downloaded to us and into the earth?
I think that anything that raises the vibration is good. So whether you're using sun, or whether you're using light language, or you're doing other amazing practices and meditations, and I'm a big fan of movement practices like yoga and Tai Chi, especially when they're done with consciousness and you're feeling the energy. I believe that our job as individuals is to take responsibility for ourselves, responsibility for our energy, and fill ourselves up with as much energy as we possibly can. And so however you do that, that's ascending, right? Like the more full we can be with light and love, then that's ascending. So when we're bringing that into our body, then yeah, when we're being that beacon of light for everybody else, for everything else here, including the planet, because we're here. So yeah, however you want to do it, whatever resonates for you,
Absolutely. That's so beautiful. And just, I think it just also comes back to our individual self and how empowered we really are to make a difference in the tools that we have available to us to really heal ourselves, to continue to heal the planet, and work together to do that. And just by sharing this knowledge, it's so powerful. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about your new healing modality, Fractaline Healing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
For sure. And that was an awesome segue, because I was just going to say Fractaline Healing is really good for this. So Fractaline Healing was another 4 a.m. download, actually. So Spirit woke me up and my body was just buzzing like I have never experienced before. And I actually haven't since, but I thought it was going to take flight. But it was like one of those, you better get out of bed and start writing because there's a lot coming through. So I got up and I got my pen and paper and started just channeling, and they were explaining that there's this new healing modality and how awesome it's going to be, you know, and then they had to prepare me, like, to take me in for the first time. And that was, wow. That was just a wow. It was already a wow, and then they took me in, and it was another wow. So Fractaline Healing it first got its name Fractaline, fractal and crystalline. So it's a crystalline fractal in the quantum realms of unlimited possibilities. And it is a space, we first enter it, and a cascade of things happen just by entering the space. Your chakras are immediately aligned. Your etheric body and your physical body are immediately aligned. Now, if we just take a moment and think about that, there's entire modalities for aligning chakras. Like, you could have a 50-minute appointment to align your chakras, and it happens instantly just by showing up. And same with the matrix and the physical body, because that is just by living our normal lives. We bump our elbow, we hit our funny bone, right? And it's like, that's enough sometimes to jostle that etheric matrix just off a little bit. And when we're not in alignment, then that's when we have energy flow issues, and that can lead to things that we don't particularly want. So it's really good to be keeping our etheric body aligned to our physical. And then further into this space, we can work with ancestral energies, we can do shadow work, we get filled up like with the most amazing divine, someone has called it Christ consciousness energy. Other people have said it's similar to angelic Reiki, but even finer and somehow more pure, amazingly. Like, just the feedback that I've gotten from people is amazing. It is a space that I tell people, ask yourself, why can't I in this space? Because this is your tool for anything, as long as it's aligned to love. There are strict boundaries and rules around universal law. So it is highly protected, which is amazing, because now you can go in there and just play, and you don't have to worry about, incurring karma or doing something that isn't in the best alignment or whatever, because you're protected. Yeah, it's incredible. So the cool thing with this, like I was kind of saying before, is that how important it is that we stay present in our bodies while we are expanding our consciousness and altering our brain waves to enter this space, because it is done through meditation. We are grounded and present. So the shifts that occur in this quantum realm do occur in the body. So yeah, it's amazing. And it's called, the reason why it's a fractal is because there's multiple levels to it. So we just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
Wow, that sounds really powerful. And so I'm just like, yeah, I need a session now.
I was thinking the same
so I'm
thing.
gonna I'll be in touch. But so is it like you do that the deeper and deeper during like one session, or is that like multiple sessions that you do it for?
Well, we are offering it as actually distance healing session. It is by far the most profound and powerful distance healing modality that I've come across. So what we do for people is just, discuss, okay, what's going on for you? What are you looking for? That sort of thing. And then I just ask them if they're present with me over Zoom or something, then I ask them to just tune into their heart space and breathe and enjoy some quiet time. And I go out and do the work. Basically, I invite their energetic body into into Fractaline Healing and work with what comes up.
Mm.
So that's currently how we're offering it. But we're also offering a workshop series to teach people, because I want people to have this modality because it is so empowering. And I'm really about, like, I like, you know, doing distance healing. That's great. And we do need help typically from others outside of ourselves.
Absolutely.
But I'm also a big fan of saying, you know what, here's the tools. If you need help, call me, but I want you to be able to do this too.
Yeah.
We want to own our power, and we have so much power.
Absolutely.
So that's why I really want to teach people this. So right now we're offering level 1, which is the first level. Now, the first level is where I do the distance healing sessions. The first level isn't like, oh, this is only level 1. You could spend the rest of your life learning about the first level. Like, it's insane what you can do there. Once we've played in that first level for a while, and we kind of get the hang of it, and we're starting to really realize what we can actually do in here, because most of the time it's just we're limited by our brains. Like I said, we ask ourselves, why can't I? Or could I do this? Stay in that innocence and curiosity, because that's when everything opens for you. But once we've played in there long enough, then we have a level 2. And the level 2 is the platform. And this is the manifestation platform. And it is also a space that borders the void. So it's also a launching pad into the void if you wanted to go hang out in the void. So that's fun. And you can do a bunch of things in there on the platform. And from there, level 3 is the sun. Now, I call it the sun because it looks like a sun. Great central sun, I'm not sure. But actually it's as if you are looking at your soul, as if your soul is a sun. And you can sun gaze in there. You can sun gaze that. That's a trippy experience because you're in this, by now you're in a very deep meditation, very deep. Like, you can't just open your eyes and function. You actually have to surface. You have to come back like you're a diver. So like if you go to level 3, you have to come back to the platform and wait. Okay, yep, we're on the platform. Okay, yep, we're good. Okay, now back up to level 1. Oh yeah, okay, I remember this. This is good. Yep, okay. Okay, and now we can bring ourselves back into the room that we're sitting in. It's like, because you go so deep, you don't even want to leave. You get into that state. And what the really cool thing is that you could feel like you've been out for 2 hours and it's been 10 minutes.
Wow.
Because time is just, you're beyond that.
You're such in that, what's the word I'm looking for? Not linear, but
It's
you know
definitely
what I mean?
not linear.
Yeah. It's like that's the opposite of that.
Opposite of linear.
So we're teaching the first level. It's called the grid. It's the crystal grid, and it's like, it is a playground. It is a playground. People work with dragons. They work with ascended masters. They work with their ancestors. They do shadow work. They can, I don't know, like, sky's the limit.
Wow, that's really beautiful.
Do you, do you have to, the people that want to sign up for the workshop, is it a good idea for us to have, like, prior experience for like Reiki, or some type of energetic like shift, or can it just be fresh off the boat and here we go?
Well, fresh off the boat, if you're called to do it, then do it. Don't be nervous. Because it is meditating, right? So you have to want or be okay with meditation. But But for those who are saying, I don't like to meditate because my brain doesn't stop thinking, this is a good modality for you because it's so active and it's so engaging, that is actually not a problem. So just know that too. If you have prior experience, great, because you're able to bring that prior experience into this system. The cool thing about this system is it's like, it is literally the toolbox. You can bring all your tools inside. Plus it has its own, but you can bring anything you want in there. And it's just, it's a space that is so highly charged. It is such a high frequency. Everything happens. If it can shift in an instant, it will. Things typically do move much faster in this space. Distance healing typically, like if you were doing a distance healing session, say with Reiki, distance healing is good for moving things along at a faster rate than in person. A lot of people find that. Of course, it isn't 100% of the time because nothing is 100% anything, but it typically goes like that. But Fractaline Healing seems to just go even faster.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool too.
Wow. Sounds like such beautiful work that you're doing in the world. I'm wondering if you can give us a little taste of that and maybe provide a light language channeling for the heart chakra.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So if your listeners or viewers have never seen this before or heard it before, it sounds a little bit funny because we'll be speaking light language and we'll be channeling also some movements with our hands. And that's me playing with the energy. People who talk with their hands are kind of playing with the energy. So, but just aside, it's channeled through my heart. So just know that whatever's coming through, if it's meant for you, you're going to get it. If it's not meant for you, you're not. So you don't have to do anything. You just listen or watch. And then as you requested the topic of the heart chakra, I think we'll go into a little more depth with that topic and say, we'll see what you say about this. How about the opening and healing the heart?
I love it.
That sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Perfect. So if you like to just take a couple of deep breaths, once again, like your beautiful meditation, Stacy, that you had at the beginning, just maybe a big inhale through your nose and exhale out through your mouth. Just do that once or twice here. It's just nice to get a little bit centered again and grounded as we bring in these energies. All right. So topic is opening and healing the heart center. Right now, I'm just literally opening the channel to get to the exact stream of energy that I'm looking for this topic. China kina katakrata tasarkutu kopaya nan kopay sadaka lada katon kopay stada kopa lana kopa sta kuna kopaya nanana sadakina go kopay sana kopay shod kopay lana na isana kite nana kopayana sayata hayanana sayata kopay stada kopoyo kopo kanana ista kuna kopaya sana na ya sanata lana na kasta kopaya. Kona kapaistana kapoto kapaistana kapaina lananaista. So right now we're just talking about that it is safe to connect to our heart space and that it is safe to be open to receiving healing and opening the heart space even further, expanding the heart space. It is safe to do so. Ko pai lana ni kita na soko paisto kamakada ta sanitin tika kapaya na nanesa tuka papaya lana na sana kista na no ko papaya na nanista kapapai kana ka sana kala na soko kuku papaya sana ni tana kapasta lana na ista na tanta kada ta soko papaya sa. So we're actually kind of building a beautiful kind of sphere-like thing, the structure around the heart space, so that it does feel very protected and honored, so that we can receive this healing. Lina kina ko la go sa boy ka kata go sa kata sana ka pesta na kidlana na sana na ishta. Toka papai lana ishta ka papai sana kata kata ta sana kata na ko papai na to ka papai sana kina kata kata ta sain da ta ta sa ta ta sa ta ta sa ta 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 mai kana kata na ka ya wai ta ma bai sta do to ko papai na na ishta ta ta sa ta ta sa ta ta sa ta ta tana ko papai na na sa na ta 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 Kuko boya ta 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 ko boya ta 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 ko boya ta na ka pa ta 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 ko boya na ka pa pa sta no to ko po ta 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 ya na na sta na na ta 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 ya na na sta na na ta na ta ta ya sa na 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 ta 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 ya na na sta na ko pa pa sta na pa pa ka na 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 ke sta ka pa sta na ko ka pa pa sta na ko pa ta na ka sha to ko ke sta na ka pa pa sta na ku ku sta ko pa pa sta. So what we were doing there is just working with both sides of the heart to go in there, and we're releasing the energies that no longer serve us in the heart space. Kona kapai, tana katai katas papai, katatata papata paika, tana so kapapaika, dana sukoko, shunu kopo, mamaya sana kapai lana naista. Ha lana nana lutukopopai, dana karana de sana tutikariata te gana kapaya. To kapia no yataya no yataya no yataya. Yona toya tanasaya, ha lana naista. Halananaishta, halanayishta nokopoa, noko wapa sadakopaishta noko, kukukupa, kukukupa, tukokopika noko tukapayatana sanikinakina katata, the tukopola nanokoto, shoda the rapapa nasa. Kiana tasa kashta, kiana tashta kayata, kiana tashta kaya nansalish chukupabai, kiana kasana kuja, tatarada ta sanika nokopaya shanoko sho, 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 sho. Just offering a reconnection if one needs it for the higher heart and the lower heart. Kana lalani sa nakupaya nana sa ya nana shjokapo. Kiana kalsan kinakata laladaista. Bringing forward more balance and coherence within the heart space. Kani kidakitana lodukusukapo. Hayatana so yada sada kina de kopa pa yada kaba pa ita na naista da kina kana naista to kopa pa ina na naista na kopa to kona mai bit na kina na go shoro go kopa pa ina na naista. Oh yo no. Oyo no ya nanaisa laning nayatana kara sanakina lanagosho to go wow mamaya. Yono waya. Kayana sagana nagashaka. Akanako shtotikabashta. Okay, so now we're going to expand the heart center Is ready to expand. Klanani dana tukapa baishtana kina katana baishta tukapa baishtana kupishtana kapaishtana kapabaishtana. Reestablishing the link between the higher self and the soul and monad with the heart space. Kana kina naishtana bailana nasaya tukina kapayasana kina gulana nasa tukaposhta tikapabayana nana sakapabaishtana kapailana nagapa. Papaishta, Shaka Papaishtana Maya. Bringing some grounding energy to make sure this is getting anchored within the body as well. Papayanana Isama Meitana Kisha, Kita Kapapaisa, Lanana Istana Kapabaishtana Kaita Katasaina Tasa, Shuka Papaisana, Nutu Papa, Doda Kapapayanana Istana Kopishta. Tikin Lana Nasakapayan and Lana Naskapapaishtana, Kitka Anatosko. Kusha kapoya tanatana kinat rada to kasamayeta lana to kopapayista to payetana kapasto kapapayeta lanas kapapai to kapapayista and kapapayista, calling forward your amazing infinite potential and power to radiate into and around and through and expand through your heart space. Kana kapapaitana kanana istana kapaistana baistana kopapaistana mamaistana lanana istana kopa to kapapaistana, calling forward your power. Kana kapaistana mayana kopapaistana babaista. Tu kapapaistana yanalasa kopaistana kopaitana paitana nasta. Talk about nana istana bagina kaboy istana bayitana naistana naista yata yanayata yanaita yanaita maisto kaboy istana kana de kapavistana nasto by talk up by yatanata siska paistana yadana tukapapayistana kapapayitan lanadistana kapayistana by bosta talk aboysta boy tapaista talk aboysta pa. Deep inhale, big exhale. One more deep inhale and deep exhale. So cool. So como. Sanana. Kinaka. Halano so. Yakono. Yakano so. Hanama. Hanama no so. Yomoni no. Hane soma. Yana sana ha. Yana sama ha. Shono no so. Yama saya. Yamano sono. Haya haya sono. Kyano ko. Sono kopoya. Samayana. Hala ha. Yana soya. Ayasaya, Ayasaya, Hala no so. Kinana so kapaya nana, Sayana kapa. Kana ko so, Tanana so kapa. Gana kapaya ta, Sona ha, Sona ha, Sona ha. Ho. Hara sara hara hasa ha ha. Thank you.
I liked that one. It was really different to me than really any other, like Reiki meditation, something where that involves chanting. The way you were doing it, it was more like you were having a conversation with my heart space, and that was That was really, it was cool. It was, instead of just, saying, this is what's happening, you were actually like talking to my heart, like, hey, come on, come with me, come with me. It was almost like a coercion kind of thing. Just come over here a second. Come over here a second. And that was just, it was really, really cool. And when I closed my eyes while you were doing it, I know we were focusing on the heart, but I saw an eye. As soon as I closed my eyes, just this big, it was like a serpent eye almost. Like, wow, I wonder what that means. So, but it was, yeah, that, I'm a little giddy right now, to be honest with you. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you. I know I just felt the vibration of the words just pulsating through my being, on my heart. And it's interesting. You saw an eye. I was drawn to my third eye, and so I was like, that was where my focus went for a little bit of the time while we were there doing that. And so between that and my heart, so that was really interesting. But just really the vibration of the sounds, it was really powerful. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I think we're both kind of like, whoa. We're both taken aback a little bit.
Yeah.
Might take a couple more deep breaths to kind of get all that soaked in. But
yeah.
Yeah. That was really beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And so, can you tell our listeners how they can find you and what you're currently working on right now?
Sure. Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook and website. It's all Light Codes by Laara. Laara is Laara. Yeah, we have YouTube as well. So you can watch some awesome videos on YouTube. We do the distance healing sessions. We do light language healing sessions. So literally what we just did there could be a session as well. We also offer spiritual counseling. So if you have questions and stuff you want to talk about, if you think you're channeling light language, or it doesn't even have to do with light language, like we cover a lot of topics. So we offer that. And then of course there's the Fractaline Healing as distance healing, or also our workshop for Fractaline Healing as well. Oh, we also channel personalized light codes. So if you would like your own light code, like what you find in the little book of light codes or light codes for the soul, then we can do one of those as well for you.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Laara, for being here today with us and sharing your experience with the light codes and light language. It's been a real pleasure just learning more about that. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you for listening to our show. Stay tuned for more episodes being released on Mondays at 5:55 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if you like the show, share the love by sharing it with your friends. And if you'd like to support the work that we're doing, please consider making a donation to our show by visiting our Patreon website at patreon.com/Be the Love Podcast. And if you feel called, we would love a review on iTunes. And until next time, love yourself, love each other, and love the world. We love you guys. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. Take care, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Heather Lynn, for providing us with your beautiful song to accompany our show, Be the Love. If you would like to learn more about Heather Lynn and her music, please visit her website at heatherlynnmusic.com. And thank you, Chrissy Grace at Leading Edge Productions, for the beautiful design and graphics.
And thank you for tuning in. And until next time, we are souls on the journey. And thank you for hopping on the ascension bus with us. And remember, there is always a seat for you.